Megan Walsh, ladies first, and Mike Pack. Welcome, welcome.
Hi, John. Thank you so much for having us.
I was looking out for the delay that time. No problems. Well, by the time it all gets into the mixing board, nobody's stepping on anybody, but that was well handled, very well handled. All right, now just to bring you up to speed, ladies and gentlemen, Mike and Megan will be with us for the remainder of the program. Mike's a 25-year veteran TV producer. He worked as a producer for shows like Big Brother and The Tyra Banks Show, and Jenny Jones has created 6 shows that sold to primetime cable networks and digital streaming services, most notable, The Hollywood Hillbillies. And now Mike spends all his time investigating the nefarious operations of the deep state. Now, Megan Walsh. Megan Walsh is the daughter of TV host John Walsh, known from America's Most Wanted, and now In Pursuit with John Walsh. Megan is a fashion designer and singer/music artist who has tirelessly spent 7 months trying to get her 3 children back from Child Protective Services and out of the custody of her father, John Walsh. Megan feels her children are in danger. Living with John and Reeve Walsh 3 years ago, Megan started doing research on her brother Adam Walsh's murder, as well as the cabal's many sinister operations. During this time, she realized her parents seemed to be in the middle of many of the cabal's sinister operations, as well as her parents being linked to many of the cabal's darkest players. When Megan started asking her father, John Walsh, too many questions, she says her father used his relationship with CPS to take her children from her. So, wow, how's that for some exposition? This is rough. Well, Megan, just tell the story, and Mike, chime in where you want to, and we'll all try and stay out of each other's way, and the 3 of us will have a big chat. So, wow. All right, let's start with the brother.
Yeah. Thanks, John. You know, I have to say out the gate, you know, this has been very heartbreaking. You know, I've loved my family and always honored my parents my entire life, as much of the country has, due to the nature of how people know us and what my family's been through, you know, as far as the narrative that's been put out and what we've all been, you know, have known about it for 40 years now since he was taken. So, you know, I was, as you mentioned, I was in fashion and music prior to becoming a mother. And I was obviously born into this and born into politics and born into the industry and born just into these different environments that, you know, I've been put in since I was young. And, you know, my family and I, we've made it through, you know, a lot of ups and downs. And, you know, it's very easy to look into my father's past and kind of see the infidelities and the dramas and again, these things that we've been through being in the public eye. I decided when I wanted to become a mother that I was going to leave music. I was in music at the time, and I had left fashion actually for reasons that we'll get into, just living in an elite family, as we're all finding out. You know, people really idolize this and really look to these families, but I really don't think at times that we stop and think what that might actually be like. And especially when your father's John Walsh. So I decided after I was in music, and actually my middle child is 4 years old, and his father is the childhood and current best friend of Kanye West. So I was in music, I was around all of that, and, you know, coming out of fashion and music, I really saw a lot, you know, and especially, you know, after my upbringing. And I just started noticing things and started questioning things. I've also been a religious scholar for 20 plus years. I lived in India for 3.5. I was trained in Kundalini. I was a practitioner of Kundalini yoga. And also when I was 28 years old at the height of my fashion career, they all of a sudden ambushed me in New York City, my family, at the Essex House in a big suite, with an actor type from Passages Rehab out of Malibu, California. And there I was told that if I wanted them to invest in my clothing line, anymore, which I was at the height of it. I was there for Fashion's Night Out. I had just launched my line at New York Fashion Week, and was really doing promoting. Actually, I'm wearing one of my samples in the picture here, and that was ironically the dress I was wearing the night they did this, now that I'm realizing, talking about it. So long story short, they sit me down, a very theatrical setting, tell me that I have to go out to 28 days in Malibu at this rehab if I want them to continue investing in my company. I had no substance abuse issue. My parents started shopping me around to therapists when I was 8 years old, starting at 8, instead of getting help for their own traumas. And that's something that we do see in elite families, and kind of a pattern, especially in narcissistic abuse and things that I could take wider for the general public. I went out there for 28 days. I stayed in Kelsey Grammer's guest house, and there I had a Rothschild actually was my therapist, and they were doing hypnosis, and he would sit with us and have us quote